Before you were born, something happened in the spiritual realm that most Capricorns spend their entire lives trying to understand. God made a decision about your soul. Not a casual decision, not a random assignment, but a deliberate choice that would determine the entire trajectory of your existence. He looked at your spirit before it entered this world and said, "This one can handle what I'm about to ask. This one is strong enough for the contract I'm about to make." I'm Jeff Zodiac, and what I'm about to reveal to you isn't astrology for entertainment. This is the truth about why your life has been the way it's been. Why you've carried weight that should have broken you. Why you've walked paths that others refused to travel. Why you've endured silence that would have destroyed weaker souls. There is a sacred contract between God and every Capricorn soul, and today you're going to understand exactly what you agreed to before you ever took your first breath. If you're watching this, it's not an accident. Your soul recognizes what I'm about to say because somewhere deep inside, you've always known this was true. You just needed someone to finally say it out loud. Drop your birth date in the comments right now. Let me see how many Capricorns found their way to this message today. And if you feel that pull in your chest, that recognition that this is meant for you, that's your spirit confirming what I'm about to tell you is real. Let's talk about the contract. Every soul that comes to Earth has a purpose, but not every soul has a contract. There's a difference. Purpose is what you do. Contract is what you carry. Most people have purpose. They're here to learn, to grow, to experience. But Capricorns, God gave you more than purpose. He gave you a binding agreement, a spiritual contract that was signed in the realm before this one. And the terms of that contract explain everything about your life that never made sense until right now. The first term of the contract is this: you will carry burdens that aren't yours. God knew before you were born that you had the spine for it. He knew you could hold weight that would crush normal people, so he wrote it into your contract. You will be the one people call when everything falls apart. You will be the foundation everyone builds on. You will hold up structures that you didn't create, families you didn't break, businesses you didn't ruin, people who should be strong enough to stand on their own but aren't. And here's the part that makes it a contract and not just a purpose. You can't refuse it. It's not optional. When someone needs carrying, your soul automatically moves toward them. You don't think about it, you don't debate it, you just do it. Because that's what you agreed to, that's the contract. God said, "I need pillars in the earth," and you said, "I'll be one." Now you understand why you've spent your entire life holding things together while getting no credit for it. It wasn't bad luck. It was the contract. The second term is even harder. You will be tested with delays that make no logical sense. God built waiting into your contract on purpose. While other signs get quick wins, you get long roads. While others celebrate early success, you're still in the preparation phase. And it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because the contract specifically states that your rewards cannot come early. They must come late. Because what God is building through you isn't meant to last for a season, it's meant to last for generations. Think about it. Everything that's built quickly falls quickly. But what takes decades to build, that stands forever. God locked you into a timeline that frustrates you, exhausts you, makes you question if he forgot about you. But he didn't forget. He's just honoring the contract. You agreed to be the tree that grows slowly, but whose roots go so deep that nothing can uproot it. Fast growth was never part of your agreement. Permanent strength was. This is why you've watched people younger than you succeed before you. Why you've seen people less qualified than you get opportunities you deserved. It's not injustice, even though it feels like it. It's the contract. Your time is coming, but it's coming on God's schedule, not yours. And when it finally arrives, what you receive will be so solid, so unshakable, so permanent that everyone will know God's hand was on it. The third term of the contract might be the most painful. You will experience betrayal from people you protected. God wrote this in knowing it would nearly destroy you. He knew you would give everything to people who would give you nothing back. He knew you would be loyal to people who would abandon you. He knew you would sacrifice for people who would betray you, and he allowed it anyway because the contract required it. Why? Because God needed to prove something through you. He needed to show the world what real loyalty looks like. Not loyalty that depends on how people treat you, but loyalty that exists because of who you are. You don't stay loyal because people deserve it. You stay loyal because your soul is wired that way. That's the contract. You are living proof that integrity doesn't require reciprocity. Every betrayal you've survived was part of this. Every person who used you and walked away was allowed by God because he was building something in you that can't be built any other way. He was turning you into someone who cannot be corrupted by disappointment. Someone who stays good even when people are bad. Someone who keeps their word even when others break theirs. That's not weakness. That's the contract being fulfilled. And here's what most Capricorns don't realize. Every person who betrayed you and walked away didn't get away with anything. They lost access to someone God personally assigned to their life. They lost a protector, a builder, a foundation. And they'll spend the rest of their lives wondering why nothing they build after you ever feels stable. Because you were the stability and they threw it away. The fourth term is this. You will suffer in silence until you learn to suffer with purpose. God put this in the contract because he knew noise wouldn't teach you what silence would. Other signs get to cry loudly, get to process publicly, get to demand attention for their pain. You don't get that option. Your pain has to be private. Your struggles have to be silent. Your breakdowns have to happen where no one can see them. At first, this feels like punishment. It feels like God doesn't care that you're hurting because he's not sending anyone to comfort you. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is God is teaching you that your strength can't depend on outside validation. You can't need an audience to survive. You can't require applause to keep going. Because the contract states that you will often be alone when you're at your weakest, and you still have to stand. This is why Capricorns develop that iron will that other signs don't have. You've cried alone so many times that eventually you stopped needing anyone to wipe your tears. You've ached in silence so many times that eventually you learned to heal yourself. You've carried weight without help so many times that eventually you became the help others need. The silence wasn't cruelty, it was training. And now you're stronger than people who had help the whole way. The fifth term explains something you've probably felt your entire life but couldn't name. You will be misunderstood by almost everyone, including people who love you. God wrote this into the contract, knowing it would isolate you. Knowing people would call you cold when you're actually protecting yourself. Knowing people would call you heartless when you're actually emotionally exhausted. Knowing people would call you controlling when you're actually trying to prevent disaster. The misunderstanding isn't an accident. It's part of the design, because God needed you to stop seeking approval from people and start seeking it only from him. As long as you care what people think, you can be manipulated. As long as you need to be understood, you can be controlled. But when you finally accept that most people will never get you, and you're okay with that, now you're free, now you're dangerous, now you're operating from a place people can't touch. This is why mature Capricorns stop explaining themselves. Not because they're arrogant, but because they've accepted the contract. They know God understands them, and that's enough. Everyone else's opinion became irrelevant the moment they realized they were never working for human approval in the first place. They were working for divine approval, and they already have it. The sixth term is something most Capricorns discover too late. You will be given gifts that require sacrifice to activate. God didn't give you talents that work effortlessly. He gave you abilities that only function when you're willing to pay a price for them. Your leadership only works if you're willing to lead alone first. Your wisdom only develops if you're willing to suffer for it. Your strength only shows up if you're willing to be tested past your limits. Nothing about your gifts is free. Everything requires blood, sweat, tears, time, and faith. And that's not because God is cruel, it's because cheap gifts create weak people. And God didn't create you to be weak. He created you to be a warrior, and warriors aren't made in comfort, they're forged in fire. So every gift you have came with a price tag, and you've been paying it your whole life without even realizing that's what was happening. Your patience? You paid for that with years of waiting. Your discernment? You paid for that with betrayals that taught you who to trust. Your resilience? You paid for that with losses that should have destroyed you but didn't. Everything you are now cost you something to become. That's the contract. God gives you the raw materials, but you have to forge them into weapons through suffering. The seventh term is about your destiny and why it feels so heavy. You will be assigned a mission that you cannot complete in your lifetime. Most people's purpose is achievable within their years on earth. Yours isn't. God gave you an assignment that's bigger than you, longer than you, more important than you. You're not building for yourself. You're building for people who haven't been born yet. You're planting trees whose shade you'll never sit under. You're laying foundations for buildings you'll never see finished. This is why your life has always felt like it's about something bigger. Because it is. You're not here just to succeed personally. You're here to create generational change, to break cycles, to build systems, to establish legacies. And that kind of work doesn't happen quickly. It doesn't happen easily. It requires someone willing to work on something they'll never fully see completed. That someone is you. That's the contract. And here's what makes this beautiful. Every Capricorn who fulfills their part of this contract makes it easier for the next generation of Capricorns. You're not just working for yourself. You're working for every Capricorn who comes after you. You're proving that it can be done. You're showing them the path. You're carrying weight so they don't have to carry as much. That's legacy. That's purpose. That's the contract in action. The eighth term explains your relationship with God Himself. You will have a direct line to the divine that others don't have. This isn't arrogance, it's the contract. God made a specific agreement with Capricorn souls that He didn't make with others. When you pray, He listens differently. When you ask, He answers specifically. When you're in trouble, He intervenes personally, not because you're better than other signs, but because your contract includes special access. Think about it like this. If God gave you harder assignments than everyone else, wouldn't it make sense that He'd also give you more direct communication? You can't complete an impossible mission without divine guidance. So God built into your contract that you would always have a way to reach Him. Your prayers don't get lost in the noise, they go straight to the throne. And that's why, even in your darkest moments, you've always felt that God was close. Because He is. That's the contract. This is also why Capricorns often feel a spiritual weight that others don't feel. You're more aware of divine presence because you're more connected to it. You sense spiritual shifts before they happen. You feel when God is moving. You know when something is about to change. That sensitivity isn't a burden, it's a gift. It's proof that your line to the divine is open and active. The ninth and final term of the contract is this. You will be rewarded in ways that others cannot comprehend. Everything you've been through, every tear, every sacrifice, every silent night, every betrayal, every delay, all of it has been documented by God. And the contract states clearly that nothing you've given will go unrewarded. But your reward won't look like other people's rewards. It will be bigger, deeper, more permanent, and more meaningful. Other people get money, you get wealth that lasts generations. Other people get relationships, you get loyalty that never breaks. Other people get success, you get legacies that outlive you. God doesn't reward Capricorns with temporary things. He rewards you with eternal things, things that matter long after you're gone. And when your reward finally comes, everyone will see that it was worth the wait. The contract promised suffering, yes, but it also promised glory. It promised testing, yes, but it also promised triumph. It promised loneliness, yes, but it also promised a crown that only the faithful receive. And you, Capricorn, are faithful. You've honored your side of the contract even when it hurt. Now God is preparing to honor his side, and when he does, you'll understand why everything had to happen exactly the way it did. If you made it to the end of this message, you now know something most Capricorns never fully understand. You have a sacred contract with God. You didn't choose it randomly. Your soul agreed to it before you were born because you were strong enough to fulfill it. And every hard thing you've been through wasn't punishment or bad luck. It was the contract being executed exactly as it was written. Drop your birth date in the comments and tell me which term of the contract hit you the hardest. Tell me which one made you realize why your life has been the way it's been. And if you know another Capricorn who needs to hear this, who needs to know their suffering had a purpose, share this with them, because somewhere right now, there's a Capricorn about to give up, and this message might be what saves them. I'm Jeff Zodiac. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are exactly where the contract said you'd be at this point in your life. And everything that's coming next was already written in the agreement God made with your soul before time began. Trust the contract, honor the contract. Your reward is closer than you think.